Today's Q&A is about inedibles, and the question is, why would there be a kosher logo on a detergent for washing clothes? I mean, why would anybody want that to be kosher? So, the answer is that if something that's not kosher becomes inedible, like it's spoiled or got mixed into some awful tasting something else, chemical or something, then the issur that was on that food falls away. And for that reason, we could use soap, detergent, or other things, even if they contain non-kosher ingredients. It makes no difference. They're not, so to speak, considered not kosher anymore. Now, the classic and the common way to make soap, different than detergent, but soap, is you take non-kosher animal fat. There's some poskim who said actually that you couldn't wash your body with such soap because of sichel kashtia. Sichel kashtia means is that in certain cases, rubbing food into your body is like drinking or eating that food. Now, that's not really our discussion for today, but most people hold that if the soap becomes inedible, then that whole issue that falls away. Like I said, once it's something that's inedible, then the issue that was on it doesn't exist anymore also. Now, it's true, there are people who don't want to use body soap or soap that's, especially soap that will be in contact with the dishes if the ingredients were not kosher. But even those consumers, even those consumers shouldn't care about clothing detergent or floor cleaners or things like that. So why do those things have hashgacha? In other words, we can imagine why there would be hashgacha on detergent, something that's going to be used to wash your dishes. Maybe because some people would be makbid on that. But who would care about kashrus for laundry detergent and floor cleaners, things like that? So the answer is like this: that there are a lot of consumers out there in the market who buy kosher food. They specifically buy kosher food. They're not Jewish, and they don't keep a kosher home at all. And the reason why they're buying food with hashgacha is because of some other benefit that it provides them. Like, for example, they might want something that has no dairy in it because they're lactose intolerant, or because they're vegan, or they have some cultural or personal reason to avoid meat products. So those people, they're using the hashgacha as a way to know that it meets the standard that they're looking for, even though they're not kosher per se. So those same people want to have paper and cleaning products that are, let's say, vegan or have no meat animal products in it. And so they turn to the manufacturers and say, please give us that. And the manufacturers then turn to the hashgacha saying, we know that consumers trust your logo to teach them that to mean that there's no, let's say, animal or dairy products in this. So we want you to give hashgacha as a way of, so that these consumers will be able to buy the product. They're not kosher consumers per se, but they're consumers who want a kosher product. So because that's the point of this hashgacha, the certifying agencies will certify their detergents and things like that in a little bit different than the regular food that they certify, because they will make sure that it meets the standard that the customers want. They know what those customers are looking for, no dairy and no meat and etc. and things like that. But they don't go through the same, to all the fine details that they would if they were giving hashgacha for cookies and pretzels and a loaf of bread. Because this is not intended for a, so to speak, kosher audience. It's intended for an audience, consumers who are using the hashgacha as a way, to know that it meets some standard that they want to. Now, on this topic, I will mention that there's a lesser known halacha that the Shulchan Aruch says. It's both in Orach Chaim in Siman Kuf Nun Daled and your Siman Kuf Daled. He says that if a food item becomes disgusting, then you can't use that thing for a mitzvah, because it's not like respectful for the mitzvah. It's like you're saying is, oh well, I can't eat this anymore, fine, so I'll just use it for the mitzvah, which makes the mitzvah being as if you're using just like your leftovers for the mitzvah. So if you have if you have cooking oil that became spoiled, it's rancid, then you shouldn't say, okay, hey, I can't eat this anyhow, I'll use it for Shabbos candles or for Hanukkah. You shouldn't use that. And there's not such a well-known halacha, and l'chayra, hashgacha shouldn't certify those things if they're not suitable for those mitzvahs.